The Nigerian military killed over 80 civilians who were celebrating. Welcome everyone to our latest video update. Today, we are delving into a deeply troubling situation unfolding in Nigeria, where a tragic incident involving the military has resulted in over 80 civilian casualties. We'll be providing an in-depth analysis, breaking down the facts, and aiming to shed light on the broader implications of this event. If you want to stay informed about these and other crucial global issues, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to never miss an update. If you find our content insightful, please hit the like button and share with your network. Your support helps us continue our mission to bring you reliable, timely news from around the world. Let's dive in. What really happened? What exactly happened? On a sober day in Nigeria, a celebratory gathering turned to a scene of despair and devastation when over 80 civilians were killed in an ill-fated military operation. According to Ubasani, a state official, these civilians were a victim of an errant drone strike intended for terrorists and bandits. This recent incident follows a troubling pattern of bombings targeting residential areas, with at least 14 documented incidences between February 2014 and September 2022. The escalating conflict in Nigeria's northwest and central regions, marked by frequent rebel attacks and subsequent area retaliation by the country's forces, has exacerbated the crisis. Rebel groups, often referred to as bandits, have been involved in a series of aggressive acts, which includes village raids, Air Force jet attacks, train hijacks, and widespread kidnappings. The incident sparked public outrage and renewed long-standing concerns regarding human rights abuses by Nigerian security forces, previously flagged by the Western allies, such as the United States. Earlier this year, lawmakers from the U.S. House of Representatives Foreign Affairs Committee urged the Biden administration to halt a $1 billion in arms assistance for Nigeria as a result of similar concerns. Local government officials, including the head of the Nigerian Army Division overseeing operations in Kaduna, made statements in the aftermath of the tragedy. They acknowledged the unfortunate nature of the incident, highlighting that the community was inadvertently affected during an operation against terrorists. Efforts are ongoing to treat the wounded and provide support to the affected community. Despite this assurance, fear prevails, with local media reporting village evacuation in anticipation of further drone attacks. The state governor has pledged to prevent a reoccurrence of such tragedy and assertively combat terrorism, bandits, and criminal elements. Humanitarian Crisis statement. Amnesty International released a statement in response to the tragic incident in Nigeria. This horrifying incident is a stark reminder of the escalating crisis in the region. It is crucial for the Nigerian government to exercise restraint in their operations and ensure the protection of civilian lives. We call for an immediate, independent investigation into this incident. The Nigerian government must hold those responsible accountable and ensure justice for the victims and their families. Local residents also voiced their concerns and distress. A witness who wishes to remain anonymous shared, "The aftermath is devastating. We are living in constant fear and the situation has become unbearable." These were the words of people who saw this happen. Our friends and families are being killed or injured. Homes are being destroyed. We need immediate humanitarian assistance. The impact on ground is tangible, with efforts ongoing to find and identify victims amid the rubble. Tragically, the search for bodies continues, with many families still unsure of the fate of their loved ones. Meanwhile, hospitals are overwhelmed with wounded civilians, highlighting an urgent need for medical aid and support. As the situation continues to develop, it is clear that the humanitarian crisis is deepening and the immediate action is needed to alleviate the suffering of the affected communities. Pattern of errant bombing in residential areas. It is so sad. The recent tragedy in Nigeria is not an isolated incident. Over the past decade, the country has endured a series of errant bombings that resulted in numerous civilian casualties. These incidents are often linked to failed attempts by the military to target terrorists or bandits hideouts located within residential areas, resulting in horrifying scenes of destruction and loss of civilian lives. Such operations frequently rely on imprecise intelligence and indiscriminate use of force, leading to disastrous mistakes with profound human rights implications. The Nigerian military continues to use these questionable tactics, raises serious questions about its strategy and respect for the principle of proportionality in conflict, escalating rebel attacks. At the same time, Nigeria has seen dramatic surge in attacks by armed rebel groups, village raids, train hijack, Air Force jet attacks, and widespread kidnapping are among the aggressive acts that have contributed to an escalating state of insecurity in the country. The perpetrators, popularly referred to as bandits, have been exploiting the lack of effective law enforcement in many regions of Nigeria to carry out their operations with impunity. The Nigerian government's failure to contain these attacks has led to a growing cycle of violence, with the civilian population bearing the brunt of the casualties. Military frequent targeting of hideouts in response to the rising rebel attacks. The Nigerian military has embarked on an aggressive campaign to seek out and destroy bandit hideouts. However, this approach has often led to catastrophic errors, with the military frequently targeting residential areas inhabited by innocent civilians. The errant bombing in Nigeria's northwest and central regions are a statement to this alarming trend. The military seemingly indiscriminate use of force in this operation, coupled with its failure to adequately distinguish between the lawful attacks, targets, and protected civilians, has resulted in what appears to be a pattern of unlawful killings. This development underscores the urgent need for a comprehensive review of the Nigerian military's operational guidelines, the rules of engagement. Accurate intelligence gathering and precision in targeting must be prioritized to prevent further loss of civilian lives. The Nigerian government will also consider engaging in meaningful dialogue with the rebel groups to negotiate a peaceful resolution to the conflict, thereby preventing further escalation of violence. Public outrage, allegation of human rights abuses. Public outrage over the errant bombings and the ensuing casualties has been palpable. The situation has exacerbated the repeated allegations of human rights abuses by the Nigerian security forces. These allegations are not new. Tracing back to previous actions by the security forces that have raised serious concerns. In the past, there have been numerous reports of indiscriminate shootings, unjustified arrests, torture, and even extrajudicial killings, invoking widespread condemnation both domestically and internationally. The disturbing pattern of these actions suggests a systemic failure to respect human rights during operations, further eroding public trust in the security forces. An urgent, impartial, and thorough investigation into all allegations is crucial, as it would serve to restore faith in the security forces and uphold principles of justice and accountability. International response and reactions. The international community has closely followed the unfolding crisis in Nigeria. Many a times, the citizens of Nigeria are denied their international rights because of all of these occurrences, with several Western nationals expressing their concerns and anguish over the escalating violence and alleged human rights abuses. Notably, the United States, a key ally of Nigeria and a significant provider of military assistance, has been vocal in its reaction. The U.S. Secretary of State, in a press conference remark, said, "The United States remains deeply concerned about the escalating violence and tragic loss of civilian lives in Nigeria. The alleged human rights abuses, including reports of targeted killings, are deeply disturbing. It is essential that the Nigerian government upholds its obligation under international law, that take tangible steps to ensure the protection of all civilians and safeguarding of human rights. The United States has also been at the forefront in promoting democracy and the rule of law. And it was no surprise when it urged the Nigerian government to conduct a thorough and transparent investigation into the allegation of human rights abuses. Simultaneously, there were calls from various quarters of the U.S. Congress to reassess the country's military aid to Nigeria. There was a growing consensus that supplying arms to a military accused of grave human rights violation was contradictory to the America's democratic principles and human rights stance. Several lawmakers have now proposed halting military aid until the Nigerian government can demonstrate substantial progress in addressing these allegations and improving its human rights record. We cannot stand by and provide material support to forces implicated in such serious abuses, said one senator during the congressional hearing. Particularly alarming are the emerging reports of forced abortions, which have shocked the international community and raised critical questions about the conduct of the Nigerian security forces. This report have added a further dimension to the crisis, with numerous international human rights organizations calling for immediate intervention and accountability. The international community reaction serves to increase pressure on the Nigerian government to address these issues promptly and decisively. It also underscores the importance of maintaining the principles of human rights, dignity, and justice at the core of any military operation or conflict resolution strategy. In conclusion, the escalating crisis in Nigeria calls for urgent and comprehensive actions. The international community involvement underscores the universal significance of human rights and the global commitment to uphold these values. It is essential for the Nigerian government to swiftly address these allegations and take tangible steps towards restoring peace and justice. If you found this analysis insightful, please give a thumbs up, share it with your colleagues, and subscribe to Feed for more in-depth coverage on global affairs. The support helps us contribute to our mission to provide accurate, timely, impactful analysis on topics like this. Remember, each one of us has a role to play in fostering a global community that values truth, justice, human rights, and dignity. Thank you. Until next time.